I still remember the moment I saw it. Honestly, I don't know what hurt more, the betrayal or the way my stomach clenched so tight I thought I might vomit right there. We had just finished our dinner. The candles flickered softly on the table, the smell of roasted garlic still lingering in the air. I was about to bring up the honeymoon plans when I noticed the bedroom door slightly ajar. Just a crack, but enough. Something was off. My heart started pounding, a sick, hollow thudding that echoed in my ears. I hesitated, then walked toward the door. My hand trembled as I pushed it open a little wider. That's when I saw them, the bed, rumpled and strewn with clothes, and the worst part, her. My wife Emily curled up with my best man Mike. Their bodies were pressed together like they were trying to hide from the world, but I saw enough. The sight burned into my mind. Her hand resting on his chest, his arm wrapped protectively around her waist. Her lips pressed in a way I'd never seen before. All that love, all that trust I'd poured into her, shattered in a second. I could feel my skin go cold, my palms sweaty, and my knees threatened to give out. I just stood there, rooted to the spot, staring at the two of them like I'd been hit by a freight train. I didn't say a word, I couldn't. I just backed out slowly, closing the door softly behind me. The silence outside was deafening. My head was spinning, my mind racing through every moment of trust I'd ever given her, every promise she had made. I knew one thing: I'd never been so blindsided before. How could she do this right before our wedding? The rest of that night was a blur of cold silence and restless sleep. I kept waking up, my mind replaying the scene in the bedroom. I'd catch glimpses of her face in my mind, her smile, her laugh, and then that image of her with Mike. I felt like I'd been punched in the gut every time. The betrayal was so raw it was like skin ripped open. It was also the moment I started questioning everything I thought I knew about her, about love, trust, loyalty. How could she do this to me? I'd trusted her with everything, my secrets, my future, my heart, and now I was left with this bitter taste, wondering if I'd ever really known her at all. The idea of her with Mike, right there in my bed, made me want to scream or break something. Instead, I just stared at the ceiling, trying to hold back tears I wouldn't allow myself to shed. The next morning, I knew what I had to do. I couldn't confront her yet. I needed time to think, to plan. There was a part of me that wanted to storm in there, rip her apart with words, make her feel as shitty as I felt. But I knew that wouldn't be enough. If I was going to do this right, I had to be strategic. I had to catch her in her own game. I remembered the small camera I'd bought a few weeks back, just a cheap device I'd intended to use for security. I never thought I'd need it for something like this, but now it would be my secret weapon. During the night, I set it up in the bedroom, angling it to capture the bed and the doorway. I wanted hard proof, something indisputable that would leave her no room to deny what she'd done. That morning I felt like I was walking on razor blades. Every step, every breath was a reminder of what I'd lost. I avoided eye contact, and when she asked if I wanted coffee, I just nodded, trying to keep my voice even. Inside, I was boiling. Anger, hurt, betrayal, everything was swirling into a storm I couldn't contain. Later that day, I watched the footage I'd recorded. As I hit play, my stomach dropped, not just from what I saw but from what I knew I had to do next. It was undeniable, her and Mike in our bed. Their bodies tangled up like they belonged to each other. The evidence was clear, and with it I had all I needed to take the next step. That's when I started planning my revenge. I didn't want to ruin her, at least not immediately. No, I wanted her to feel the same betrayal, the same helplessness I'd felt. I needed her to realize that trust, once broken, isn't so easy to mend. I had to be clever. I had to be patient. I took a deep breath, feeling the weight of what was coming. I looked at the footage again, then closed my laptop with a satisfying click. I'd make her regret this. I'd make her see that I wasn't the kind of guy who just lets things go. No, I was going to make her pay, and I knew exactly how I'd do it. Would you like me to continue with the next part? The next few days felt like walking through a fog. I'd go through the motions, work, eat, breathe, while inside a storm was brewing. Every time I looked at her, I saw her eyes flicker with guilt or maybe just fear. I wasn't sure anymore. I kept replaying that footage, analyzing every detail. Her scent still haunted me, some floral, sweet scent I associated with her. Now it felt suffocating. I knew I had to keep my plans tight, Confronting her right away wouldn't give me anything. I needed to be cold, calculated. I stayed distant, avoiding her touch, her words, her gaze. I couldn't let her see my weakness. I wanted her to feel the coldness I was bottling up, to see the cracks in my composure. One evening I sat her down in the living room. Her face was pale, eyes darting around as if searching for an escape route. I poured myself a glass of water and took a slow, deliberate sip. Then I looked right at her. "So," I started, voice steady but low, "did you think I wouldn't find out?" Her lips trembled. She looked away briefly, then back at me, eyes glistening. I don't know what you mean." "Oh, come on," I said, leaning forward just enough to make her uncomfortable. "I have the footage, the camera, the pictures, the proof that you two were in my bed behind my back." Her face crumpled. "It's not what you think, it's not what it looks like." I snorted, "Really? Because what it looks like is betrayal, deep, gut-wrenching betrayal. Did you really think I wouldn't see through your lies?" She started crying then, big, ragged sobs. I felt nothing but cold detachment. I'd hoped I'd feel anger or sadness, but all I had was this aching emptiness. I wanted her to hurt just as I was hurting inside. "Why?" I asked, voice breaking a little, though I fought to keep it steady. "Why did you do this? How could you throw everything away?" "For Mike." She looked down, trembling. "It was a mistake. I didn't mean for it to happen. I was drunk. It was a stupid mistake, I swear." "Stop," I cut her off. "Don't give me that bullshit. I saw the way you looked at him. It wasn't a mistake, Emily. It was a decision. You chose him over me. That's what hurts the most." Her tears spilled over, but I didn't care. I'd already made my choice. I'd been silent for too long. Now it was time to act. I told her I needed space, that I'd been thinking about everything. I walked out of the room, knowing I had to control the situation, not be controlled by it. I spent the next few days meticulously planning my revenge, making sure every step was calculated. I wanted her to realize she'd lost something real, something she'd taken for granted. I gathered all the small things I'd kept hidden, her favorite jewelry, a few personal items she'd left behind. I placed them in a box, sealed it, and put it in my closet. That's when I started my next move. I reached out to a private investigator I knew from work. It was time to get more proof that would make her realize she couldn't lie her way out of this. In the meantime, I kept her at a distance, letting her stew in her guilt. I wanted her to feel the anxiety, the uncertainty. I made a point to be cold, dismissive, even hostile when I had to talk to her. I told her I wasn't sure if I could forgive her. Every word was a calculated blow, and I saw her flinch each time. Then, one evening, I got the confirmation I needed. The investigator called. It was more footage, more photos, this time of her sneaking around, meeting Mike in secret. It was perfect, clear evidence. Every lie she told was falling apart. I sat on the porch, staring at the footage on my phone, feeling my jaw tight. My plan was set. I knew what I was going to do. The revenge wasn't going to be messy or violent, but it would hit her where it hurt, her reputation, her sense of security. I'd make her feel exposed, vulnerable as I had. I couldn't let her get away with this. I told her I needed a serious talk. She looked scared now, trembling more than ever. Good, that's how she should feel. I was ready. The pieces were in motion. All I had to do now was wait for the right moment to strike. "Would you like me to continue with the next part?" I could feel the tension crackling in the air as I called her into the living room. Her eyes were red-rimmed and she kept fidgeting like she was trying to find an escape route. I had everything laid out, the receipts, the photos, the recordings. I wanted her to see that I wasn't bluffing. "Sit down," I said, voice calm but firm. She hesitated, then slowly sank onto the sofa, eyes darting from the evidence to me. I placed the folder I'd compiled on the table between us, each piece laid out deliberately so she couldn't pretend she hadn't been caught. "You've been lying," I started, watching her swallow hard. "All those times you said nothing was going on. I have proof of everything. Your secret meetings, your sneaking around." "How long has this been going on?" Her hands trembled as she looked down, avoiding my gaze. "It was just once," she whispered. "It didn't mean anything, I swear. I was drunk." "Once." I cut her off sharply. "You expect me to believe that? I have footage of you meeting him in secret, several times, even in the park in the car," and I paused, letting the weight of it sink in our bed, Emily, your bed. Her breath hitched. "I didn't mean for it to go this far. It just happened. I was so lonely, so confused." "You were lonely, huh?" I echoed, my voice rising slightly. While I was working my ass off to make a life for us, you were out screwing around. She looked like she wanted to cry, her face crumpling. Please, I didn't want to hurt you. It was a mistake. I love you. Oh, really? You love me so much that you're willing to cheat on me with my best man. I snapped, feeling the punch of betrayal deep in my chest. That's love in your world. She burst into tears then, sobbing uncontrollably. Good. I wanted her to feel the weight of what she'd done. It was a stupid mistake. Please, I'll do anything, just do. Leave me? I clenched my fists. Anything, you sure? Because I've been thinking about a lot of things. I paused, taking a breath. You see, cheating isn't just about betrayal, it's about disrespect, and I don't think I can stay with someone who disrespects me like that. Her tears kept flowing, her voice breaking. I never wanted to hurt you, I'm sorry, I swear I'll make it right. Sorry doesn't cut it anymore, I said coldly. I've got the footage, the photos. I even know about the times you lied to me directly, and I've decided I want revenge. Her eyes widened. Revenge? What are you talking about? I leaned in, voice low and dangerous. You crossed a line, Emily, and I'm going to make sure you regret it, not by throwing accusations or shouting. No, I want you to feel what I feel. Betrayal isn't just a word, it's a punishment. She looked terrified now, begging, please don't do anything crazy. I'll do anything you want, just don't punish me like that. I smirked, feeling the rush of cold satisfaction. Good, because this is just the beginning. I've been planning this for a while. I'm going to make this hurt deep. Her voice shrank to a whisper. You're serious? I am, I said, rising from the couch. And soon you'll see, you won't believe what I'm capable of when I'm pushed far enough. I turned away, feeling the adrenaline surge. The game was on now. She had no idea what I had in store, but I knew one thing: she wouldn't be able to deny her betrayal forever. Would you like me to continue with the next part? A few days passed in a tense limbo. I stayed busy, but my mind was laser-focused on executing my plan. Every second I wasn't working, I was plotting, waiting for the right moment. She stayed distant, trying to act innocent, but I saw through it. Her eyes flitted nervously whenever I looked her way. She knew somehow that I was up to something, and that made her more anxious than she'd ever been. I kept her at arm's length, and in that time I set everything in motion. I reached out to the private investigator again. He'd been collecting more evidence, texts, phone logs, even some hidden video footage. I told him to keep everything tight. I didn't want her suspecting anything until I was ready. That night I sat her down again, but this time I was different. I had the footage ready on my laptop and I slid it across the table. Watch this, I said quietly. Her eyes flicked to the screen, her face draining of color. She hesitated, then clicked play. I watched her as her face turned white. Her hands clenched into fists, trembling. It was footage of her sneaking out of our house, meeting Mike in the parking lot, whispering and laughing like they were in on a secret just for them. The video was clear, undeniable. When she finally looked up, tears streamed down her face. This isn't what it looks like, she choked out. It's not what you think. You lied to me, I said, voice cold. You told me it was just one mistake, that it was over. Look at this, I've got proof of more than just once. This has been going on for weeks, Emily. She sank back against the sofa, her face a mask of despair. Please, I never wanted to lose you. I thought I could fix it. It was just a stupid mistake. I shook my head. You made your choice. You chose Mike over me, over everything we built. And now I'm going to make you regret it, trust me on that. I pulled out my phone and showed her the other photos I'd collected, her kissing him in the park, her hand slipping into his pocket in the grocery store. Every detail was right there, plain for her to see. The evidence was airtight and her face twisted with guilt and panic. I've decided, I said, voice steady, that I won't just walk away. No, I want you to feel what I feel: betrayed, humiliated, hurt. So I've got one last thing to do. Her eyes widened in alarm. What are you talking about? I took a deep breath, feeling the cold simmer of satisfaction. You'll see, but first I want to make sure you understand the gravity of what you've done. This isn't just about cheating, it's about respect, or rather the lack of it. I left her sitting there, her face streaked with tears, her body trembling. I went straight to work. I'd had enough of her lies, her excuses. Now I was going to make sure she paid for it. I contacted my friend, someone I knew who specialized in digital security. I wanted to plan a little surprise for her, something subtle, something she wouldn't catch immediately. I told my friend to plant a tracker on her phone sneakily so I could monitor her movements. If she tried to deny anything, I'd have the proof right there. The moment I had that set, I knew I'd be ready. I wanted her to feel trapped, exposed, out of control. I wanted her to realize she'd crossed a line that couldn't be uncrossed. This wasn't about revenge just for the sake of it. It was about sending her a message, one she wouldn't forget. That night I sat in my darkened living room watching my phone. Every ping, every update made my pulse race. She was moving, meeting him again, I could see it. My plan was falling into place. I just had to wait for the perfect moment to confront her with everything. She was starting to crack. That much was clear. When she called me the next morning, her voice was shaky, trembling. "Can we talk?" I answered softly, "Sure, but no. This I have nothing to hide, do you?" That quiet, tense exchange was the prelude. I knew she was feeling more anxious than ever. I was ready. The revenge was about to start hitting harder. Would you like me to continue with the next part? The day I finally confronted her, the air was thick with tension, like a storm brewing just before the lightning strikes. I'd spent the night reviewing everything, making sure I was prepared for her reactions. The tracker on her phone showed her moving toward the same place, the same meeting point she'd used before. Perfect. It was all falling into place. She called me early, voice trembling. "Can we talk, please?" She begged, sounding desperate. I told her to meet me at the park where I knew she'd go when she was chasing that lie of hers. I wanted her to think she had some control, that she could spin her story on her terms. But I already knew her story was dead. When she arrived, her face was pale, eyes darting around. She looked like she was trying to convince herself everything was fine. I was already sitting on a park bench, waiting. She hesitated, then sat down across from me. I looked her over, the trembling hands, the nervous glance, before I finally spoke. "You've been lying, Emily," I said softly but firmly. "I've seen everything, the footage, the photos, the tracker. You've been sneaking around for weeks and you thought I wouldn't find out." She looked down, shoulders hunched. "I didn't mean for it to get this far. I swear I loved you. I was lonely, confused. I made a stupid mistake." I shook my head. "A mistake? That's what you call it. You cheated on me with my best man right before the wedding, Emily. That's not a mistake. That's a betrayal, and I want to tell you something. I'm done with that version of us." Her eyes filled with tears. "Please, I was so stupid. I didn't want to lose everything. Too late." I cut her off. "Because now I'm going to make you pay. Not with tears, not with apologies. You're going to feel what I've felt. That's how I know this is right." Her voice cracked. "What do you mean? What are you going to do?" I stood up, feeling the adrenaline. "Serge, you've been playing with fire, Emily. I've got a plan, one that will make sure you never forget what you did. I want you to see how it feels to be betrayed, to be exposed, helpless." She looked genuinely scared now. "Please don't do anything crazy. I'll do anything, just don't ruin me like this." I took a step closer, lowering my voice. "You already did that, but I'm not the kind of guy who lets things go easily. No, I want to make sure you're punished. And this time it's going to be permanent." I reached into my pocket and pulled out a small envelope. "This is the beginning," I said, voice cold. "You're going to regret ever crossing me." As I walked away, I saw her trembling, clutching her purse, eyes wide with panic. I knew she finally understood that I was serious. I had all the evidence, all the leverage. Now I was going to make her see just how deep the rabbit hole went. The plan I devised was simple but effective. I'd leak some of the footage to her closest friends and family, people she trusted. I wanted her to feel exposed, vulnerable, the kind of vulnerability that cuts deep. It was a calculated move, something that would make her realize she couldn't hide from her actions. I also contacted a friend in the media world, someone I trusted, to help me craft a story. Not just to humiliate her, but to make her understand that her reputation was on the line. She'd lose everything if she tried to run or deny. That's how I wanted her to feel, helpless, cornered, and finally honest. That night I sat in my apartment watching her social media accounts. I saw her trying to delete posts, erase evidence, but it was too late. The seeds of her downfall were already planted. I didn't feel victorious yet, just cold. I knew the worst was yet to come. Now it was all about the fallout she couldn't escape from. I was ready to watch her crumble, and in that moment realize just how much she'd lost: trust, love, her reputation. All for a moment of reckless betrayal. Would you like me to continue with the final part? That night, I stayed up watching her social media tumble. The first signs were her frantic messages to friends, trying to explain, deny or hide what she'd done. But no one bought it. The dam had burst. Her carefully curated image was crumbling piece by piece. I felt no guilt, only a hollow sense of justice. She had chosen her betrayal, and now she was paying the price. I went to bed knowing the worst was yet to come for her. Come morning, I filed the paperwork. The house, the furniture, everything that symbolized our life together, gone. I handed over the keys to the real estate agent with a cold smile. The act was symbolic, a final severance. I didn't want her to have any hold on me anymore. She showed up at my apartment that afternoon, desperate, begging, crying, pleading. Her makeup was smudged, her hair disheveled, and her eyes looked hollow. She looked like someone who'd been forced to face her own destruction. She reached out for me, but I stepped back. "This is over," I said, voice firm. "You had your chance, Emily. You threw away what we had for some stupid, reckless moment. I hope it was worth it." She sank to her knees, clutching at my legs. "Please, I love you. I'll do anything, just don't do this. Don't take everything away from me." I looked down at her, feeling a strange mixture of pity and contempt. "Love? You mean the love you threw away for a quick thrill? That's not love, that's selfishness, and I refuse to be part of it anymore." I gently pushed her hands away. "I've made my decision. This is final." She stared up at me, tears streaming down her face, trembling. "You're so angry, but I swear I'll change. Just give me a second chance." I shook my head. "Second chances here. I've seen who you really are, Emily. I trusted you and you shattered that trust. You chose him over us and I can't forget that. I won't." I reached into my bag, pulling out the last piece of evidence. The recording of her begging in the park, her voice pleading for forgiveness, her face full of regret. I handed it to her. "Here, this is your reminder of what you lost, what you threw away." She looked at it, her hands trembling. "I'm sorry. I know I messed up everything. Just please don't make me regret it forever." I took a deep breath, feeling a strange calm wash over me. "You already do," I said softly. "I hope that regret haunts you for a long, long time." Slowly, I turned away, walking to the door. I left her there, broken and crying. I knew then that I had done what I needed to do. No more games, no more deception. The trust we once shared was irreparably gone, and I had faced it head on. A part of me felt empty, no satisfaction, just a quiet resolve. I had lost someone I loved, but I gained clarity. Trust, once broken, doesn't mend easily. And sometimes it's better to walk away than to stay and be broken alongside someone who doesn't respect you. I closed the door behind me, knowing I wouldn't look back. Moving forward, I promised myself I'd rebuild, wiser and more cautious. And as I stepped into the sunlight, I understood. True strength lies in knowing when to walk away, even if it hurts like hell. The lesson is simple. Asterisk trust is fragile, and once broken, there's no going back. Sometimes, the best revenge is walking away clean and unbroken.